Hey there, we are going to do some work on homework problems, and this one has a lot of people scratching their head. So I wanted to help give you some clues to set you on your way. It's not going to give you the answers, it's just going to kind of help steer you. And so in this particular problem, we're given some clues. We know that there are a couple of events that data is given to us. So we have A, which is an individual having high cholesterol, and we have a probability associated with that. So I'm going to go ahead and just start bringing this over and creating a table. And so here it gives us this arbitrary P of A. I actually like, in my parentheses, I like to give it meaningful information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the probability that they have high cholesterol, and I'm going to put the value that's associated with that. And then we also have this B value that somebody is borderline, and we have a probability associated with that. And instead of putting borderline, I'm going to just put border. And my value associated with that is 0.27. Now in the first question it's asking us, we have a new event, so this P of C, that somebody has normal cholesterol. So what is the probability of that event? And so rather than putting P of C, I'm going to put probability of normal. And I need to find the answer for that. So consider, if we have three options available here, somebody can have either high cholesterol, be borderline, or have normal cholesterol, and we have two values, everything needs to add up to a certain number. That should give you a clue for how you can find your normal value. So once you find that, you can answer A, and then we'll jump down and dive into question B. So the key here is that we have two people that are randomly selected. And so what we're going to be doing on all of these is we're going to have person A, or person 1, let's do it that way, because we're already referring to people in terms, we have this A and B concept already up above. So I'm going to change it up and do person 1 times person 2. Okay, so we're going to follow that format for all of these, and things are going to be changing up a little bit. And so this is going back to it's kind of like a multi-step where you're taking one times the other. And so the probability that they would both have high cholesterol, well, we have person 1 and person 2, and really all we need to do is look over at our table that we created and figure out what is the probability for high. Plug that number in and you will end up with a value. Easy peasy. The probability that neither would have high cholesterol. And so neither is a clue that we are looking at a complement. So if a person, we have person 1 and we have person 2, and if each of these people don't have high cholesterol, they must have what? They must have anything other than high. So figure out how you would calculate that. So it's going to be 1 minus the probability of high is another way of thinking about that. And so you will have that information based on your table. And you just plug that number, that exact same number in for person 1 and person 2, and multiply it and get your value. What's the probability that they would both have normal cholesterol? They both have normal. So again, this is pretty straightforward on this one. We're just going to our table and finding the probability for normal, and we're taking the person 1's normal times person 2's normal and getting our value. And this final one is the most challenging out of all of them. The probability that at least one would have normal cholesterol. So you probably remember whenever we were talking about complements previously that we discovered that whenever you see something that says at least one, a lot of times it's easier to take the complement of that, which would be that none the complement of at least one is none, would have normal cholesterol. So let's think about that. We have person 1 and person 2. If they don't have normal cholesterol, what do they have? So find that value and plug it in for each person. But we also need to remember that we're taking the complement of that. And so we need to subtract that value from 1. And that'll give you your value. So that one is the most challenging out of everything on this particular question. But I hope it gets you steered toward the answer and helps you remember some of the concepts that we've learned along the way.